Students, in the last video we learned Lagrange's theorem and its properties. Now we shall define some more terms and we shall learn some more definitions in this video and some more theorems using the Lagrange's theorem and the properties of cosets we learned in the earlier videos. So without wasting much time, let's begin with a new definition which is called stabilizer of a point. Okay, so what is stabilizer of a point? Let G be a group of permutations of a set capital S. It is a collection of it's not a simple collection, it's a group of permutations defined in a set S. Then for every I belonging to S, define stabilizer of G in stabilizer of I in G as all such phi belonging to G such that phi of I is equals to I. Okay, so this is called stabilizer of a point. So this is basically, why do we call that this is a stabilizer of a point in G? Because this is collection of permutations, and we would be proving that this is a subgroup of G. Now if G is a group of permutations of a set S, then for each I in the set S, define stabilizer of I in G such that it is a collection of all such permutations in G such that phi I is equals to phi I is equals to I. What does it mean? It means that this permutation fixes I. So it is a collection of all permutations that fix the element I. When we learned permutation groups, we learned that when we write a cycle, so if any element is not present in that cycle, that means that cycle fixes that particular cycle. So other term for this statement is that phi fixes I. Okay, so this is a subgroup of G. Okay, so this is a subgroup of G. We shall use two subgroup tests here. Clearly, rather we can say that the first of all we shall prove that this is non-empty. Identity of G belongs to stab Gi because e.g. identity takes every element to itself. Okay, this is also a permutation. Now therefore stab Gi is always non-empty. Okay, so by the two subgroup tests also has a precondition that the subset that we are talking about should be non-empty. Okay, so there are two steps: prove the closure and prove existence of inverse. Okay, now let phi 1, phi 2, phi 1 comma phi 2, these are two permutations belonging to stab G of I. Now let's calculate. Note that whenever we talk of permutations, the operation being applied on is the function composition, because permutations are nothing else but functions. Phi 1 phi 2 I is equals to phi 1 of phi 2 I. Phi 2 I, now since phi 2 belongs to stabilizer of I, it means phi 2 fixes I. It should be equal to I. Again, phi 1 belongs to stabilizer of I, that means phi 1 also fixes I. So this is again. So phi 1 phi 2 I is equals to I. This implies phi1 phi2 belongs to stabilizer of I in G. Similarly, now G is a group of permutations of a set S. We know that if phi belongs to stabilizer of I in G. Now we know that phi belongs to G, rather this is this. Phi also belongs to G. Now phi inverse belongs to, clearly phi inverse exists. Phi is a permutation, so phi inverse exists, and phi inverse belongs to G. Okay. Now phi of I is equals to I. Now we shall prove that, to prove phi inverse I is equals to I. Okay. Now phi of phi inverse I is equals to phi inverse I okay. Phi of phi inverse I is equals to phi inverse of I also this is equals to I, because phi inverse is identity. Okay, so this is equals to I also. Phi inverse I is equals to I. This implies phi inverse I is equals to I. This implies phi inverse belongs to stabilizer of G in I. So by two subgroup test, this is also a subgroup of this group. Okay, so stabilizer of point in a group of permutations is a collection of all permutations that fix that particular point. Okay, so we move on to the next definition, which is orbit of a point, and then we will take up one example where we will calculate these stabilizers in orbit. So our next definition is orbit of a point. Okay. So let G be a group of permutations of a set S. Then for each S in capital S, define orbit of this point. What is this? Phi of S sorry, S is a constant here, phi belongs to G. Okay. Now let's take one example of a collection of permutations in S8. So let's take up this example. Now what is orbit of, let's calculate these values, okay? Now what was the definition of orbit? Orbit is, orbit of a point is the collection of all values against all the permutations of a set S. So if G is a group of permutations of a set S, then for any point in S, we define phi of S, collection of phi S, where phi belongs to G. So let's calculate orbit of G in orbit of 1, okay? Now these are all permutations in G. These are different phi's, you can say. The different values of phi in G. Now here it is 1. Here 1 goes to 3. Here again 1 goes to 3. There 1 goes to 2. And in this permutation 1 goes to 2 again. And 1 goes to 1. So again, if we calculate orbit of 2, here 2 goes to 1. 2 also goes to 2 in this permutation. 2 goes to 1. 2 goes to 3. And then 2 goes to 3 in this also. 2 goes to 2 here also. 2 goes to 2. Similarly, orbit of 4. Here 4 goes to 4. 4 goes to 6. Then 4 goes to 6 again. 4 goes to 5. Then 4 goes to 5 again. And then we have 4 goes to 4. 7. 7 goes to 7 first of all in identity permutation. 7 goes to 8. There 7 goes to 7. Here also 7 goes to 8. Then 7 goes to 8. So these are orbits. Now let's calculate stabilizer. Okay, now let's calculate these values. Now, what was the definition of stabilizer? It is a collection of all permutations in G that stabilizes that point. That means it is a collection of all permutations in G that sends 1 to 1. Identity permutation sends 1 to 1. So this will be a collection of permutation. Here when 1 goes to 3, no. 1 goes to 3, again 1 goes to 2, 1 goes to 2, no. And here 1 is fixed. Sorry, I guess, yeah, this is a complete permutation. So this is this. Again 2 goes to 2. Identity permutation will always be there. 2 goes to 1, no. 2 goes to 1, no. 2 goes to 3, 2 goes to 3, again 7, 8. Stabilizer of 4. 4 should go to 4. No ways. 4 is present. 4 is present everywhere except. Okay. So now since we have learned orbit of a point, stabilizer of a point, and we also did one example how to calculate orbit of a point and stabilizer of a point. Next comes orbit stabilizer theorem. Now what is this theorem? Let G is a finite group okay. If G is a finite group of permutations of a set S, then for any I in S, order of G is same as order of orbit of I in G divided by order of stabilizer of. Okay. So this says that if G is a finite group of permutations of a set S, then for any I in S, order of G is same as order of orbit divided by order of stabilizer. Okay. So we already proved that stabilizer of G in I is a subgroup of G. Therefore, order of stabilizer divides order of G. Okay. So this is some number R. Now we shall prove that this number is orbit. Now R is the distinct left cosets. Sorry, this is not. Okay, and number of distinct left cosets of this subgroup stab Gi in G is equals to order of G divided by order of stab Gi. Suppose that this is equals to R. So this is the distinct number of distinct left cosets of this subgroup in G. Okay. So we shall prove that this R is equal to the number of orbit. Now we define a mapping T phi of H to distinct left cosets of H in G to orbit. Okay. Now let's fix I. Let's fix I for now. Okay. So this implies, how do we define it? H is basically stabilizer, okay? So you can also say that this is stabilizer, okay, to orbit. And how do we define the mapping? Phi of stabilizer I goes to phi of I. Now to prove that it is, first of all it's a mapping, then it's 1 1 on 2. Now suppose that, what is distinct here? this is fixed, distinct is this. Okay, so let phi1 stab G I, domain elements are equal, is equals to phi2 stab G. Double implies phi1 inverse phi2 stab G. Phi1 inverse phi2 belongs to this stab Gi. This implies, double implies actually, phi1 inverse phi2 I is equals to I. Okay, this double implies phi1 I is equals to phi2 I. Okay, so this was 1 Clearly this is onto. If there is any element in orbit, it means that it has to be of the form phi I, and we can write it as this. Now we had already proved this is a mapping because this is a double implies notation, 1 onto. Okay, so therefore T is 1 and onto. Now since this is 1 and onto, this mapping is 1 and onto, therefore order of phi stabilizer is same as order of orbit. Okay, so now this is again same as stabilizer, order of stabilizer. How many distinct left cosets are there? This was the collection of all distinct left cosets. Okay, so how many elements were there in the set? These were order of G by order of stab Gi. Okay, so this is a theorem. If G is a finite group of permutations of a set S, then for any I in S, order of G is product of orbit of I into stabilizer of I. Now since stabilizer is a subgroup of G, this implies its order divides order of the group. Moreover, the distinct left cosets will be equal to order of G divided by order of stabilizer, which is equal to R. Now let's define a mapping from the collection of all left cosets of H and G. H is the stabilizer here, to orbit of that. Now what is variable here? Stabilizer. The subgroup is same, but when we are writing two distinct elements of the domain, we will change only the values of phi, because this remains the constant. Okay, so to prove 1 and that it is a mapping, we have used phi1 stabilizer of I is same as phi2 stabilizer of I. Now by properties of coset, phi1 phi2 inverse belongs to stabilizer of I, therefore phi1 inverse phi2 I is equals to I. This implies phi1 I is same as phi2 I. So traversing backwards, we can prove 1 and clearly this is on to nothing to be proved. For any element in orbit, we have a permutation, and correspondingly we can define a left coset of that permutation. Okay, so I think we are done with this theorem, and there is a task for all of you. Since we learned Lagrange's theorem in the last video, we need to prove that the converse of Lagrange's theorem is false. of Lagrange's theorem is false. So Lagrange's theorem says that if H is a subgroup of any group G, or G should be finite, this implies order of H divides order of G. Okay, so to prove that the converse of Lagrange's theorem is false, we need to find out a group and a subgroup such that order of order of H divides order of G, but H is not a subgroup of G. There we said that if G is a group and H is G is a finite group and H is a subgroup of G, then order of H divides order of G. Converse is not true. It means that there can be any number, 6 divides 12, but it has no subgroup of order 6. Okay, so there might be a case, there might be divisors of the order of a finite group. Okay, but it is not necessary that there will be a subgroup of that order. So we need to prove that this is not true. For that we need to find out a group and show that it has no subgroups of that particular order. Okay, so that's a task for all of you, and in the next video we'll learn a totally new topic, which is external direct product of groups. Okay, so far we have been working with single group and its subgroups. In the next video we'll learn about how to tackle multiple groups simultaneously. Okay, so stay tuned for next video and keep watching these videos regularly. Thank you so much.